Welcome to Activations with JJ November 2022 Monthly Energy Update. In this episode, our themes for the month will be increased phenomena in the sky, connecting with elementals to calibrate our energy and receive upgrades, more connection with the inner earth civilizations and energies, preparing for the 1111 portal, and finally, stepping into new archetypes. We have lots going on in November. I'm so excited to dive into these topics with you. So let's get started. Welcome, my beautiful friends, all of you wonderful souls who join me to co-create in this energetic container that some people call a podcast. I am so grateful for you, and I really, truly mean it. I say it pretty much every single time I record an episode. But my heart is so full because of your willingness to listen and to extend your energy to what I am doing. I definitely feel it. By all means, I do. And I also know that several of you have shared my thoughts and my words and my content with other people. And I am also very appreciative of that. I'm excited again to get headed into these topics for November. It's really interesting. I want to give you just a little preface to our November 2022 monthly energy update themes. And that is that this time, when I sat down to channel and to connect with my guides to bring through the topics for November 2022, they actually asked me to do something I have never done before. It is something that I typically do in my gatherings, but it's nothing I've done to prep for channeling a monthly energy update. So I was asked to do light language. But here's the thing. It wasn't my normal spoken light language. It was actually drawing light language or light codes. So I got out my tablet and I just started to create these light language drawings. I actually create these quite often for my mentorship clients, for those who are participating in soul integration and soul activation. I channel audio light language for them and also these drawings. So it was kind of something I'm used to doing. But again, I've never done it for an energy update. So as I talk you through these topics, I'm going to refer to some drawings that I did. You can find those in two places because if you're visual, it's going to bother you not to be able to see what I'm describing. You can find those on my Instagram. It's one of my most recent posts if you're listening to this close to November 1st, 2022. If you are listening to it later and you cannot find it, it will be in my highlights under YouTube. But there's another easy way to access it, and that is through my website, activationswithjj.com. There is a blog section on my website, and you can just search for the November monthly energy update, and the images will be located on that blog post. So without any further ado, let's head into the very first topic, which is a really fun one. It was actually brought through both my light language drawings and the synchronicity of having several people send me photos of very interesting phenomena that they had witnessed with their own eyes and caught on camera. I'm actually going to share some of this stuff on my Instagram and on my website as well. Like there's tons of images coming through, lots of visuals connected to this monthly energy update. So the photos and videos that my friends shared with me, they have given me permission to share with you. And there are some very interesting things. I know that a lot of you are experiencing this, but if you look at the light language drawings I did, the first one ended up with a light blue background, and then I just felt like I needed to put all these little sparkles and these little dots and orbs in that. And when I kind of pulled back to see what am I creating, all of a sudden I was like, oh, this looks like little orbs in the sky or little objects in the sky flying around, ships that we might be sort of seeing, similar to a photo that one of my friends sent me. Not only that, but I had done a second drawing, and I actually did both of them and then realized that they were completely connected to each other. The second drawing had a black background, and then I felt drawn to create these light flares, kind of these greenish light flares in that drawing. And when I got done, I was like, oh my word, this looks just like the Northern Lights. The Northern Lights have been coming up a lot, my friends. Honestly, I think there's a lot of significance and meaning to those that we don't even understand. if you look up the Northern Lights and you kind of look into more the spiritual aspect or the energetic aspect, there is actually quite a bit out there. But I just know that that's what my guides are telling me as well. It's like, you guys think it's just Northern Lights, but it's really all of these energies coming in, and we're sort of disguising them as the Northern Lights. So not only will you be seeing orbs in the broad daylight or flying objects in the broad daylight, but you will also notice in the night sky very interesting things that you have never noticed before. And here's what my guides brought through. It was really fascinating. They said, oftentimes our interdimensional and galactic family members and friends use cloaking devices so that we don't freak out. Most of the collective still has quite a bit of fear surrounding interdimensionals, but those of us who are calibrating to higher densities and receiving those ascension energies, our sight will literally be tuned or attuned to actually see some of their ships. They don't need to cloak anymore because they know, and they only cloak to a certain vibrational level so that anybody else who's at a different level will be able to see them. So I want you to take some time this month and just notice, pay attention when you're outside, look up at the sky, either in the daytime or the nighttime. Now, not only will there be phenomena in the sky, but other people have been sending me photos of orbs out in nature. And these orbs to me often feel like very fairy-like energy. And I think the same thing applies. As our sight attunes to these higher vibrations, we are going to begin to see things we have not seen before. This actually happened to me about 3 years ago. This was the first time that I ever experienced seeing energies that I had never seen before in my line of sight. And it really happened when I was flying on an airplane. I looked out into the sky and I could see these little sort of orbs of energy. There were these little transparent circles almost. And I was like, what in the world is that? And if I looked hard enough, I could see them. And the interesting thing is most of what I see is with my third eye. So I'm not seeing like with my physical eyes a lot. But that time I did, and these things have been happening more and more lately. So again, if you're interested in seeing what my amazing friends captured with their video and their cameras, you can check out my Instagram or my website, and I will post those pictures there because it's super duper fascinating. All right, so those are kind of the themes that pertain to that topic of phenomena in the sky and also in nature. The second theme for November 2022 is actually also connected to nature. It has to do with the elementals and working with the elementals. Now, to set the stage for this, I want to let you know that I ended up channeling this additional drawing, and the drawing is actually being used as the background of my YouTube video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see this multicolored drawing that is the video. And that drawing started out with layers, and it was just color after color after color and texture after texture after texture. And I was like, what am I drawing? And then Spirit dropped in and said, well, that's the variety that you find out in nature, all the different energies that you find in the elementals. And what we are trying to convey to you is that you can always reach out to the elementals to receive activation, to receive upgrades. Many of you forget that that is one of the easiest ways to do it. You'll often think of other complicated ways that take much more time, much more effort, when you could just walk out your front door and go hug a tree and receive the activation that you could get at a week-long retreat. Honestly. So they were being very funny with that because I know that many of us have been trained in the spiritual community to make things complicated, to make things hard, or kind of to make things feel like they have to be a lot of work. And your ascension journey doesn't have to be a lot of work, especially right now. If you feel like you need a break or you need it to be easy for a while because it's been a little rough for some of us, then by all means, set that intention, Go out into nature. Nature is one of the most incredible ways to receive activation because nature is specifically attuned to integrate and to communicate with our physical bodies. And as you know, and I've talked about this a lot, it's our physical bodies that are really taking the brunt of this energy because for eons, the physical body has been taught to go into fight or flight mode and to fear change. And so what's happening with all of these changing energies is our bodies are releasing some of the programming of being afraid of change, but there's still some residual stuff there. And so nature, which is the most incredible model for what change looks like, is able to connect with our physical cells in a way that nothing else can and help us to transition and shift in all of the possible ways to all and through all of the vibrations we are experiencing during this time of ascension. So I want to bring that to your attention as another invitation to take some time out in nature. You know, it's funny because I've even noticed that watching like nature videos is very calming to me as well. So however you access nature, it's going to be very beneficial to you, especially during this month of November. Shifting into our third energy theme for November, we are going to delve into the topic of the inner earth civilizations. This one has been really fascinating to me because over the last about 2 months, I've had several sessions with people where they have parallel lives, past lives, or guides connected to the inner earth. So we're talking about Talos, we're talking about the Agarthians, lots of other civilizations. Actually, I believe I've heard it say that Lemuria, some of the fragments of that civilization ended up transferring into the inner earth and then ended up kind of vibrating so that nobody knew they were there, right? This is similar to the story of Atlantis. Like if you've seen the cartoon Journey to Atlantis, by the way, that is a great example of what it is kind of like down there. I have had the amazing opportunity of accompanying people to this inner earth realm with their guides leading us. And there's been some really cool things that we've seen. We've seen the caves that lead to the inner earth. So it's kind of like caves there first. Then there are tunnels and they keep going deeper and deeper. And when you finally get to this place, it's like Dolores Cannon's books when you hear her describing what that place is like. There is an artificial light, kind of like a sun, but it's not a sun. And I feel like it's a crystal that's there that's kind of activated. And that's how all their lights are. Any of the light down there feels like it's crystal. And then there are some really fascinating and unique beings, including some that look like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings, kind of dwarves or troll kind of looking beings. There are some little furry animals down there. I've connected with like sort of lizard or amphibious beings down there, as well as beings that look a little bit like a Yeti or Bigfoot. And all of these beings that dwell in that place, they are very grounding. And that brings me to the topic of why is it important to know that in November we're connecting more with these inner earth civilizations? Well, I truly believe, one, they have knowledge and information. They have libraries, and I've been to some of their libraries down there. They have libraries where they have kept a lot of information regarding some of the codes for this time period. It's almost like during some of the golden ages, they tucked those things away to be brought out at a different time. So I know that they have those, but they just have this energy that is going to help us better anchor into the new Gaia. It feels to me like, if I were to describe it to you visually, and this kind of might be what the image that I drew looks like. You'll have to take a look at it. It's got the colors that are very grounding, like a brown with a sort of orange in it. And these energies are just going to start bubbling up to the surface of the planet. I have to invite you. There are a couple parts about this drawing that I do not understand fully, so I want you to take a look at it And let me know what you think in the comments below. It's really kind of puzzling to me at this moment. I haven't really had a realization on what it's about, but the bubbling energies are definitely reflected in the drawing. And again, I feel like they're kind of swirling up to the top of the surface, and we can connect with those energies. In addition to all of the beings I described in the inner earth, by the way, there are actual people that look just like humans. There are some interdimensionals down there. It's a pretty incredible place. For those of you who've connected with Talos, you know that that's really what it feels like down there. It's just this other world almost, but it's here. It's in the inner earth. All right, let's go ahead and shift now into theme number 4, which is a pretty obvious one. I know that a lot of you know and understand that it's an important time because of the 1111 portal. This is a time when last year, a lot of things just started really accelerating for me. I had just opened up the modality of multidimensional soul integration, and I had probably had maybe 4 or 5 people participate in that, and everything just started to go and grow at a quantum leap level right after the 1111 portal. And I kid you not, I know it had to do with that energy, because what happened at that time is so many people were tapping into a season of growth for themselves. So if you're feeling like you're about to approach a big shift, however that looks for you, I want to invite you to set the intention to prepare for this 1111 portal. And approaching that time, begin to maybe journal or write down how it is that you want to utilize these energies. Not only are you going to have specific intentions for the energies of 1111, but my guides have invited me to also drop in and let everybody know some of the themes for the collective that are associated with the 1111. And let me tell you a little story that is connected to this. So a few days ago, and I'm recording this just right before the 1st of November, a few days ago, I had a session with my amazing multidimensional Reiki master, friend, healer, incredible light worker, Monica, and she ended up seeing a cross right in the middle of my body. And that was really kind of puzzling to me, but I thought, well, that's interesting. And then she also said, just a few phrases later, she's like, well, you're preparing for the 1111 portal, aren't you? And I thought, yeah, I think energetically I'm trying to calibrate to it so that I can, do all of these one-on-one sessions that I'm going to be doing. So that just kind of happened, and I went my way. And then a little bit later on, Spirit showed me a visual. I often receive messages through my third eye, and this is what I saw. I saw the 2 lines that make up the number 11 form and shift into this symbol of a cross, And they said, this is one of the themes for this year's 1111 portal. And I was like, okay, what does the cross mean? Now, the cross started coming up in more sessions, and it's come up before I had it come up in my session and after. So then it was like a bunch of synchronicities. And then I remembered something that I had a realization about, and it happened about, it was probably now 5 or 6 months ago, but then it popped up again. And then the idea was that of the divine feminine, the divine masculine. So if you look up what the cross means, none of this is new. Like, I'm not reinventing this. Spirit just was reminding me of things I already knew. But the cross, so the horizontal line of the cross could represent the divine feminine. The vertical line of the cross, the divine masculine. The point in the middle is your sacred union, but also 0 point energy, the void. And so that was really fascinating to me that Spirit brought that through. Just like I said it to you, that's how Spirit explained it to me. Not only that, but the idea of the cross was also associated with heaven connecting with earth. So the earth would be the horizontal line, and then heaven or spirit connecting through that vertical line. And you're seeing that right there in the plus sign. And of course, it's in math for a reason, because all of these symbols came from a long time ago, and we are just integrating them into what we do today in modern times, but they've existed since ancient times. And even before that, I'm sure. The last thing that Spirit dropped in about this 1111 portal and what it would bring for us is the connection between mind, body, and spirit. Those three things, mind, body, and spirit. I'm bringing that to you to offer it as food for thought. So as you're preparing for the 1111 portal, it's some different things for you to think about how you can incorporate some of these ideas into your 1111 intentions. Now, before I move on to our very last topic for this month, I do want to drop in and make sure you know I'm really excited about the 1111 portal. I have several one-on-one sessions with you lined up. I believe those are probably all booked by the time I publish this episode, but there are things you can still do. There are ways we can gather and co-create. One of them is a fully virtual Zoom gathering that I'm doing at 2 p.m. Pacific on 11/11, and you can sign up for that through the link in the description below. Then I will actually be in California that evening doing an event that is a multidimensional channeling ceremony with 3 other very powerful channelers. We'll be bringing through all kinds of incredible energy, and that one has in-person as well as virtual tickets. So there are a couple opportunities for you to co-create with me on 11/11, and I'm really excited to do so. So check out the links below, like I said. All right, we're going to shift into theme number 5 for November 2022. It was so funny when this theme came through because I was like, wow, that was such an amazing theme. I can't believe it. And then I went back and read my October 2022 energy update. I was like, that's exactly the same thing I said in October. And Spirit's like, well, maybe because you didn't get the message, or maybe because we're taking you the next step, we needed to bring it into your awareness. So the topic from October 2022 that I'm referring to is that of activating soul templates. So I'm not going to go into a ton of detail because if you want a little bit more background about it, you can hop on over to my October 2022 monthly energy update. I talk about it, I think, twice that month too. I did an ascension message about soul templates. The wording soul template is almost interchangeable with the word archetype. So whichever one resonates best with you. The theme that Spirit wanted me to bring through for November was the concept of releasing old archetypes and stepping into new archetypes, which sounds very, very simple. The way it came through to me is in some sessions that I did over the last few weeks. I've been working with some of these people for a long time. I've taken them through multidimensional soul activation, soul integration, my regular mentorship where I bring through modalities that Spirit would like to bring to them. Their guides are saying, hey, you did this modality in another life. We want you to start doing it now. So it's fun. It's fun. I get to bring through all these really cool modalities. But this idea of the archetypes and these soul templates came through too, because it was almost like Spirit's like, okay, next thing, here's what you're going to do now. It's going to be working with these soul templates. Now, a lot of you know that I'm working with Amron Bevel's co-author of the Priestess Transmissions, and that has been so, so powerful. I'm literally just a few weeks into it. I'm reading the Priestess Transmissions with all of you, dropping in to the reading club, which comes with the book. You can join the reading club free with the book. And then also creating these amazing Zoom sessions and gatherings and accompanying those of you who are in the self-study portal, which kind of is a little bit deeper dive. All of those things that I'm doing with Amron and co-creating with her have to do with activating the priestess template. What I've noticed is that a lot of you are being prepped and calibrated to receive these new archetypes, these new templates. Some of you, Spirit has told me, are feeling stuck right now. You feel like you're on the cusp of something new, but there's this last missing link that you cannot put your finger on that is keeping you from jumping to that next thing. And I am telling you right now, I truly believe that for several of you, that missing link is releasing the old archetype and bringing in the new one. And there are honestly so many ways that you can do that. Many of you already work with incredible light workers, guides, intuitive coaches who know exactly how to help you through this. Others of you are working with your spirit team to do this. But that being said, I am also feeling drawn to create a new offering that is specifically intended for this process. I'm feeling pulled to do this over a 4-week period, which is a very common time frame for me. I feel like in order to fully be activated and integrate and do the things that need to be done, it should happen in a 4-week period of time minimum. And so if you click on the link below, you will see that I have some preliminary information about this particular offering that's going to come up here in the next couple of weeks. I'm kind of doing it with an application process because I do feel it is a little bit further down the soul evolution journey than some other offerings I have. So if this piques your interest, if this resonates with you, again, all you have to do is click on that link below and you can find out more information about what this entails. I'm just hoping that I can get this right this time so that it doesn't pop up in the December monthly energy update too. Spirit's not like, JJ, you didn't do what we were mentioning and now we're going to bring it up again. It's not just me. I know this message is for all of us. So I guess, can we all get the message that it's time to release those archetypes and bring in new ones? Yes, let's all agree to do that during November, however that looks for us, whether it be doing it with our team in spirit or having JJ accompany you through it. We've got this, right? We've got this. All right, that is the last topic. This has been a long energy update, but I think after some of the craziness of October, we deserved a little love and care from spirit, a little bit more specific stuff. My friends, I am looking forward to the month of November so much. I have all of my regular gatherings that are occurring via Zoom, in addition to the 1111 portal stuff. So I don't want to go into tons of detail, but if you click on the link below, all about the gatherings, you can join us as we connect with the Arcturians, the fairies and the dragons, the Galactic Federation, the Lemurians, and then finally, I'm actually launching a new cohort for multidimensional soul activation. That starts in November. That's the last one I'll be doing this year. That is actually the last program I will be running this year. Everything else is going to be on hold through the remainder of the year, and I will start fresh in January with the different things I do, the soul integration, the mentorship, and the light language mentorship. So again, it's kind of the last opportunity if you feel drawn to finish out 2022 with some soul activation, then take a look at that link and you can find out more info. Okay, here we are. I want to recap these 5 themes for you. There was a lot that we went through, and just to kind of seal this deal, let's go through them one more time. Remembering, number 1, to pay attention to the skies and to phenomena that's going to be occurring that you're going to begin seeing. Number 2, connecting with the elementals to help bring through ascension energies and upgrades. Number 3, paying attention to that grounding energy that is bubbling up from the inner earth realm and potentially visiting some of your inner earth guides or past lives. Number 4, preparing for that 1111 portal, focusing on those 3 subtopics that I mentioned. And finally, number 5, activating new archetypes or soul templates. As always, my friends, I am so grateful to you for co-creating. I'm sending you so much love and reminding you that I am you and you are me and we are we.